All right. Good morning, Who That Nation. Welcome to the WDN Chatline podcast. It's the host CB, and yes, I'm coming to you on a Saturday morning. As you all know, my birthday was on Thursday, so basically Thursday, Friday. I just been turning up on my 32nd, so you guys better be wishing me a happy 32nd birthday. But anyway, Who That Nation. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. I definitely have. I New Orleans Saints finished that game in fantastic form, especially offensively. With some things we can take away, and there were some things that we could take away that needed improvement. So we'll get into a little bit of that today. What's going to need to occur in order to be successful up in Charlotte. But before I do that, let me go ahead and get into the comment section. Shout out to Miss Tar. Said, "Who that family miss you guys? We definitely miss you, Miss Tar. Welcome back. I hope you are doing just fine. Who that to you as well, Miss Tar. I see it's Poppy 504 in the building. Said, what's down with you? 504. You said we out here, most definitely, fam. We ready to go. I see the OG Jerry Poor in the building. Said WDN Chatline podcast. Who that to you, OG? See you say stay tuned for the intro. Yeah, man. Jerry, we definitely had to include you on the intro, fam. Definitely die hard supporter of the podcast, and we appreciate you, fam. You also said happy belated birthday, CB. Man, I definitely appreciate that, fam. And basically, today's show is going to consist of just previewing the upcoming matchup. As you guys know, it's this coming Monday at 6:15. So we have to be ready to go up there and right the ship. As you guys see the question that I got below, can we right the ship in Charlotte? As you guys know, the last two times we went up to Charlotte, it has been a horrible performance. And it's the thing about it, the teams hadn't even been good. Both teams, both Carolina teams in 21-22, they hadn't been good at all. They just had our number. So we have to make sure we right the ship when we go to Charlotte and get this thing right. Shout out to Cornelius, said happy belated. Yeah, appreciate that, Cornelius. So yeah, basically what I'm gonna do is you guys know how we get down on this show in the previews. We start on the offensive side versus our defense, then our defense versus our offense. Gonna open up the phone line, so you guys please call in, give me your thoughts and your analysis of this game, what we can do to be successful in Charlotte, because this is a new ball club, and I'm gonna name a lot of new additions to the team. Um, Definitely a different ball club from last season, but they have still had our number the past two seasons, and they swept us. So, regardless of how things look week one with them, we can't overlook that because we're coming off getting swept by these guys. So we need to focus on getting that right. And there's some things that could interfere with that if they hadn't fixed that this week in Saints, in the Saints camp. Okay. Jerry said definitely the offense need to right the ship. Yes, sir, fam. And I put the offense because it has been crappy performances by the offense the past two seasons we went up there, especially by the QBs. So let's just go ahead and get started, man. Let's see. We'll start on our defense versus their offense. But before I get into what needs to go down, like I said, it has been a huge turnaround, far as new additions to their team. So I'm gonna name out all the new additions to the offensive unit. We're gonna start with the quarterback position. They have rookie quarterback Bryce Young. Bryce Young, rookie quarterback. Gonna go to the running back position. They have new running back Miles Sanders. You guys know Miles Sanders. He was up there in Philly. He was a huge part of their success in getting to the Super Bowl. So he's not no slouch. Then we go to the wide receiver position. I believe this is it should be their number one receiver, and Adam Thielen. I'll get to what occurred in week one, but Adam Thielen, I know he's a vet player, but he's a new addition to their ball club. DJ Chark Jr. He was from Jacksonville. He was pretty solid in Jacksonville, but they brought him along to the team as well. We also got Jonathan Mingo, another addition to the ball club. And that's receivers, 3 new receivers. Then we go to the tight end room. The tight end room, you got Hayden Hurst. So he's their new tight end. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Ian Thomas was their number 1 tight end last season. But Hayden Hurst is definitely their number 1 tight end this season. And then we go to the offensive line. The offensive line, they got Nash Jensen. I believe he is a guard. And then you have another guard in Chandler Zavala. So they got a huge turnaround on that offensive unit. Now, will that be a success? In the future, I do know Nash Jensen and Chandler Zavala, they are rookies. They're rookies. So you got 2 rookies on the offensive line. Now, I didn't watch the matchup with them versus Atlanta. I didn't watch that matchup. I might catch it, just to see how both teams looking since they in our division and we play one of them Monday night. But just by looking at the 2 rookies and what I seen in the preseason, I was told that things wasn't so much different against Atlanta, and that's starting with the offensive line. The offensive line, I just named the 2 rookies. You got Morton. The right tackle. He's been there. The tackles have been there. The left tackle, he's solid. I think he was from NC State. But yeah, their guards and their center, that should be lunch meat. Now, if you're looking at our defense, we seen what Brian Brzee was bringing. I'm gonna start with Brian Brzee because I think eventually he's gonna slide into that starting lineup. Brian Brzee, we seen how he was getting to the quarterback. I mean, he was starting to make it look easy. So Brian Brzee, I'm expecting him to eat. Kayla Saunders, I'm expecting Kayla Saunders to eat. Nathan Shepard, I'm expecting our whole interior defensive line. Malcolm Roach, the subs, we shouldn't have no issue with our offensive line. I mean, this has been multiple weeks. Even, like I said, going back to preseason, it showed its face when Bryce Young was out there running for his life. Now, if I'm a coach, I don't even know why the Panthers organization gonna bring in a young rookie and Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick. If you're gonna bring in a talent like that to your ball club, why not give them offensive line help? But that's not our issues. That's Carolina Panthers issues. But that's just a no-brainer. You would want to make sure your offensive line is solidified, not bringing and putting rookies out there. And to my knowledge, I don't believe these offensive linemen was, was top in their class, the 2 rookies that's out there. I may be wrong, I'm not sure, but they definitely wasn't the first round pick because Bryce Young was the first round pick. But anyway, their interior offensive line should be lunch meat for our guys. Even, like I said, I even named Malcolm Roach. The backups should still be in there eating to know he gonna get some snaps inside as well. Everybody should be eating the interior. And when we go out to Cam Jordan, he'll probably be matched up on I don't know how to mention his name, not Morton, but the left tackle. I mean, Cam has had his fair share of wins versus him. He really is they only solid lineman, on that whole unit. Is that left tackle from NC State. So, like I said, our whole defensive line shouldn't have no issues at all getting to Bryce Young. Bryce Young, he has a little bit of legs on him, but he's not no Kyler Murray, no Jalen Hurts, not far as his feet. So we get the pressure on him. And I'm going to just read the numbers that he had against Atlanta. Bryce Young's number versus the Atlanta defense. Now, we know what Atlanta's defense looked like last season, but they have brought in our former defensive coordinator, our former backup linebacker, Payton. David Onyemata. They brought in some of our pieces over there. So, I mean, I'm expecting their defense to be a little better. But I'm going to just read some of their stats. Bryce, the offensive side. Bryce Young, 20 for 38, 146 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a fumble. Like I said, I hadn't watched the game, so I'm going to go back and watch. But I'm pretty sure those 2 interceptions, more than not, had to do with him getting pressured and him throwing at least one of those picks off of being pressured. So that was his numbers for the day. He also had a fumble. He fumbled the ball, but they recovered it. So then we're going to go to the running back position. Miles Sanders, newly Philadelphia Eagle, former Philadelphia Eagle. He had 18 attempts for 72 yards. He also fumbled the ball, and there was a turnover, but just 18 attempts for 72 yards. That's right at 4.5 yards a pop. Miles Sanders, that's going to be a guy we're going to have to key in on. And really, Herbert as well. We've seen Herbert. We dealt with him. He had 9 attempts for 60 yards. So that right there, both of their running backs was averaging over 4 yards a pop. So this is going to have to be, our focus. But what did I just say? They got 2 rookies out there, and maybe if their running backs was able to average over 4 yards a pop, then that tells me that their rookies were doing pretty exceptional in the run blocking. Because your running back not gonna eat like that if you're not getting some type of help on the offensive line. So I still trust our defensive line to get in there, run stop. Our run stop was really against Tennessee. Our run stopping wasn't that bad. I mean, if you really think about it, I think Derrick Henry, he didn't have over 60 yards. I don't forgot the final numbers, but they didn't run over 100 yards on us. I mean, so we done pretty exceptional, as far as the defense up front. I mean, like I said, the defense, really no comment to how well they played week 1. Let me get to some comments before I move forward. I keep on reading. Let's see. Cornelius said, offensive line is my concern. We can't have too many of those performances. You're right, fam. The offensive line, and we're going to get on that side of the ball. We're definitely going to get on that side of the ball. But yeah, that's definitely going to be a huge factor in this game, Cornelius. You also said, I'm just counting down the game to Kamara returns. Yeah, we all is, fam, but we still got to go up and play 2 more games before he get there. So we got to make sure whoever is in the backfield, Jamal Williams, like I said, I believe he's going to have some better numbers Sunday. I believe so. If the line can do us some good, I believe Jamal Williams is going to be better. And we should be seeing Kendre Miller assisting him Sunday as well. Jerry said Kamara will be back Sunday against the Bucs. Facts, fam. But we can still, and honestly, we don't even need Kamara to get through these games. And honestly, like last week, I forgot all about AK not even being out there. So AK, he's not going to do nothing but help the offense even more. But with that being said, AK is not an offensive lineman. But we're gonna get into that in a few seconds. Let me just get back to their offense. So I told you what Miles and Herbert done on the ground. So those numbers stand out, and they averaged over 4 yards a pop. So that's something we're gonna have to hamper down on. Frank is not gonna allow Bryce Young to drop back and throw the ball, especially after the way our secondary performed week 1. How we made Ryan Tannehill look, they're going to look at the tape and be like, we're going to have to put the ball on the ground, be a game manager. That's how he's going to approach this game. Okay, as far as their receivers, Hayden Hurst, the newly tight end, and he was solid. He was solid up there in Baltimore. No, Baltimore. He was with the Bengals. My fault. He was with the Bengals. He was solid with the Bengals. Had 5 receptions for 41 yards. Miles Sanders had 4 receptions for 26 yards. And I think those was the top 2 receivers. So that pretty much tell how their passing game was looking. Pretty much a shell of itself. But like I said, Bryce Young, yeah, he's in our division. I'm not, closing the door on him saying that's who he is. I just don't think I know when he dropping back, he's getting pressured. And as far as that running game, I mean, their numbers looked good. So maybe they was solid in the run game. But when it's time to drop back, and Frank, he had Bryce Young drop back 38 times. So that doesn't even make sense right there. Why are you having your quarterback drop back 38 times? 20 for 38. That's a little over 50. That's probably about 53% of his passes completed. So out of 38 attempts, you had 146 yards. So they're going to approach this game different. They're going to try to game manage it. They know our secondary is way better than Atlanta's. So, they can't chance, turning the ball over and Bryce Young getting pressured because of the offensive line. But that's pretty much how their numbers was looking offensively. So basically the takeaway, like I said, Miles Sanders, he's a dog. Oh, and I do want to point out one more thing with Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, this guy had 2 receptions for 12 yards, only got targeted twice. Now, like I said, this is Carolina Panthers' problems, but if I'm Frank Wright, why didn't you make sure is Adam Thielen your number 1 guy? Now he's a vet player and stuff, but to me, he's still better than the rest of those guys out there. So why is he only getting targeted twice? Now once again, I don't know how Atlanta played Thielen. Maybe they took him out the game. I don't know, but if I'm Frank Wright, I don't understand why this man only got targeted twice. Motion that man, I mean, just move him around the field. You want to put the ball in his hands, but that's y'all's problem. That's not ours, and we're going to take advantage of that. If y'all throw Adam Thielen the ball twice Monday night, Who That Nation, we got to capitalize on that. It shouldn't be no way they successful against our defense, which they won't be. They won't be against our defense. So that pretty much wraps up that side of the ball. Now let's get on our offense versus their defense. And before we start there, I'm going to read some newly additions to their defensive side. Defense, Shy Tuttle. He was a solid piece on our unit. He wasn't no elite defensive tackle, but nonetheless, they took him from us. He started from them. He had a half a sack against the Falcons. Deshaun Williams, that's a defensive end. He played with the Broncos last season, so that's a newly piece that they brought in. We got Justin Houston. You guys know what type time he was on out there with the Chiefs. I don't know if he's still playing at that, that level. I'm pretty sure he's not. If he was, I don't believe he would have got picked up this late because he was a late pickup by Carolina. So I don't believe he's still at that level that he once was. And then we got Von Bell. Von Bell was a former Saint, and it's just another player that they picked up. I'm not gonna say picked up from us because he left us and then he went up to the Bengals. Yeah, he went up to the Bengals for a little bit, but still a former Saint to us. Okay, so I'm gonna get into their numbers versus the Panthers. Their defense. Atlanta. Their defense. Derrick Brown had 8 tackles. He led the defense in tackles. That's a defensive tackle, by the way. Derrick Brown, the defensive tackle. So Brian Burns had 2 sacks. Oh, we're going to get into him as well. Shy Tuttle had a half a sack, and Lavu had a half a sack. Lavu was on a unit last season as well. but he's not one of their driving forces. So let's just start with our offense, and then we're going to get into, the Brian Burns situation, because I think he can really wreak havoc on our offense. The way our offensive line was playing, and said I still got full faith in them. But we'll get into them in a minute. You already know who I'm talking about. Gonna go back to this comment. Cornelius said, offensive line is my concern. We get had too many of those performances. You're absolutely right. I just named out Brian Burns had 2 sacks against Atlanta. But when they go back to this drawing board and look at this tape, like I just said in the last segment, on the Trevor Penny segment, don't you think they're gonna he's gonna be looking at Trevor Penny, coach, I want him. Let me eat on him. Let me wreak havoc. That's what they're talking about this week. So Trevor Penny, man, he definitely got a huge task this week. And Trevor Penny, I mean, just the physicality he brings, I think a fire gonna be lit up his ass this week, to be honest. I think he's gonna have a fire lit up his ass. So we'll see how that plays out. Okay, Cornelius said, I was just about to ask about Miller. Yeah, Kendrick Miller, I believe he should be returning this week. Really, other than Jamal Williams, Tony Jones got a carry or two. Our running game was really a shell of itself against the Titans. But with that being said, that wasn't no knock on Jamal Williams. It was just, their defense was just solid. Their defensive line up front was solid. Even those new pieces, man, they was wreaking havoc. But it also, our offensive line wasn't holding up as well on that left side. Yeah, that's going to be really the deciding outcome. I'm not going to say the deciding outcome, but it's going to be 70% of how this game plays out. Our offense. If our offense cannot, score the football, I'm not talking about kicking field goals. We got to get in the end zone and score. That doesn't just include the offensive line. The Derek Carr, he had an exceptional game. He's going to have to step it up in the red zone. Now, if guys is being jammed up like that, what do we bring Jimmy Graham here for? Did we bring him here for depth, or did we bring him here for red zone targets? If we got Jimmy Graham on the team, if we're getting in the red zone, put him out there, put Taysom out there, put all your guys out there, your key guys. I mean, that's no knock to Jawan, or if you got 2 tight end sets, him and Jawan, but most likely ain't gonna be in no 2 tight end set if you're passing the ball in the red zone, most of the time, unless you like in single back or something like that. But Jimmy Graham, throw him out there. I mean, obviously, I know that was something that didn't show itself in a good way Sunday. Okay, so Cornelius said, I think this would be the game everyone expected Mike T to have had last week. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out, fam. But yeah, I'm expecting Mike Thomas to definitely step up. Definitely step up even more this week. And just looking at their defense, their defensive backs, J.C. Horn. We can start with the receivers. When I talked about the running backs, Kendra expected back this week. Jamal Williams, I believe in him, man. I believe he's going to be going up against far as they front seven. I believe Tennessee's front seven was better. I think far as a pass rush, it's going to be more challenging for Trevor this week because you're going to be going up against elite pass rush and Brian Burns. So that's really the difference between the two. I think we'll have a better run game this game. Excuse me. But I see Whitley Jeremiah in the building said, "What's up, CB? Who that for life? Who that to you, fam?" Cornelius said, "Who was the rookie who had a great preseason this year? I saw his name being floated around on Twitter." Okay, what rookies you talking about, fam? You talking about a rookie on our squad or, on their squad? You said, of course, that just frantic, people pushing the panic button. Or you talking about Trevor Penning? The Trevor Penning, I'm not pressing the panic button on him. I just know you got to point out things that stood out. What was the reason why the game last week versus the Tennessee Titans was so close? What was the driving part in there? It was our offense not putting up points. I'm not talking about field goal. I'm talking about 7 points. What prevented us from putting up 7 points? With all these pieces we got, what was the cause of that? Number one, what stood out was Derek Carr was getting pressured a lot. Even though his numbers looked good, that interception was all on Derek Carr, but it was some plays where Derek Carr got pressured a lot. It caused us to go 3 and out, and I believe we could have scored. Now, another thing that stood out offensively that wasn't good, the red zone offense efficiency. We wasn't efficient in the red zone at all. We scored 1 touchdown. So, like I said, that starts with Derek Carr. Derek Carr has to be a better decision making in the red zone. They say this was a problem that he had with the Raiders. His time with the Raiders, he wasn't a good red zone decision maker. But with that being said, we have enough pieces to where it's no excuse. Even with AK not being there, we have enough pieces to where Derek Carr can make efficient decision making in the red zone. Like I said with Jimmy Graham, if you got to throw Jimmy out there, what's the point of Jimmy being here for? We're not going to utilize him in the red zone. Of course, I wasn't expecting Jimmy to start, but use him in the red zone. Make him a decoy or something. Somebody got to be a decoy in the red zone, or all options open in the red zone. And let's just hope Derek Carr make the best decision. But that's something out of Derek Carr's game that can improve, and it should, because we got the pieces, and there's no excuse for that. So Derek Carr, he got to step it up in the red zone. Okay, so other than that, our offensive line, as far as the receivers, J.C. Horn on their end, he had a hamstring injury, so he's going to be out a few weeks. I think he's going to be gone for a good minute. So he's going to be back later on in the season, the back half of the season. So we don't got to deal with J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn, that's somebody we hadn't even dealt with yet. And he was a high first round draft pick last season by the Panthers. If I'm not mistaken, I don't believe we seen him that second game. I know the first game we didn't, but anyway, he's their best corner. He won't be there. C.J. Henderson, I'm not, too concerned about C.J. Henderson. As far as Jeremy Chin, I think he one of their safety. They use him. I know they're going to be sending him on the blitz. They're going to be sending him to rush the quarterback. That's why they know what our weak point on the offense was, and it was our offensive line. Not as a whole, it was just pieces on the offensive line. So we got to step it up this week, offensive line, and that's pretty much it on that. So I'm going to put the link in the comment. Going to open up the phone lines. Let you guys come call in, chop it up with us. Shout out to Trav 504. Said, who that everybody? Who that to you, Trav 504? Got a huge matchup Monday night. This is a division game. The Tennessee Titans, that was an AFC game. This is what matters Monday. Division. We can go down 0-1 in the division if we don't fix these things that was hampering us against the Titans. Okay, so the phone lines is open. You guys come chop it up with your boy CB. Definitely want to hear from Jerry. Cornelius, you call in, fam. Jerry said this is a wake-up call. Yeah, fam, it's definitely a wake-up call. And really, I'm really concerned with Brian Burns. They're not going to put Brian Burns on Ryan Ramczyk. That would be stupid of the Carolina Panthers to do that. That would be a dumb decision for them. They're not going to do that. They're going to put them up on Trevor Penning. Hopefully Trevor Penning can right the ship. Shout out to Javier said, Olave reminds me of Lance Moore. Who that? Yeah. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, the route running definitely is similar. I think Chris Olave definitely more quicker and faster, but yeah, both of them was exceptional route runners. But yeah, fam, I definitely loving what I'm seeing for Chris Olave. 8 receptions for 112 yards. Definitely loving that. Shaheed, 8 receptions for 95 yards. Mike Thomas, 6 receptions for 61 yards. I'm not concerned about those guys going into this matchup against the secondary. Xavier Woods, Jeremy Chin. Who else is back there? And I named the corners. Yeah, it shouldn't be nobody that's going to shut them down. J.C. Horn was their best secondary player, in my opinion. But I see we got the OG Jerry Poole on the line. Jerry, what's good with you, fam?
What's good, CB? Happy belated birthday to you, my brother.
Oh, appreciate that, fam.
No problem.
Okay, fam. So what's your thoughts on this upcoming matchup against Carolina? You know, they've been our kryptonite. They swept us last season, and both of the last trips to Charlotte. You know, they have done us dirty. So what's your thoughts, fam?
Well, CB, all I know is this could be a major turnaround for this Saints team because, yes, the Carolina Panthers had our number the last couple of years, but this coming Monday night, like I was saying in the chat, this is a wake-up call. This is definitely a wake-up call, especially for that offense because, like I said, they had a full week to get their stuff together because we don't know how epic this Panthers defense going to be, so because I know they're going to come in with their game plan, just like we're going to come in with ours. So the only thing I see is that the Saints get this thing right, and hopefully and prayerfully, we'll beat the Panthers and end up being 2-0 on Monday Night Football.
Okay, fam. Good take on that. And how you feeling about? Like I said, you watched my last segment. I'm not trying to point out, Trevor Penn or nothing like that. He our first round draft pick, so our expectations from him is very high. How do you think he'll step up to the challenge versus Brian Burns this week? I definitely think so. How you feeling on that matchup?
I hope so, bro, because he had a little shaky game against Tennessee, but hopefully he got his stuff together so he can face that guy on Monday night. Because as we broke down, Trevor Penning had a bad first half, but then the second half he turned things around with some help. So hopefully all that help that he's gonna get is gonna help develop in this when we face this defense. So I expect Trevor Penning to do a lot better. I mean, we can't down the guy just yet because he had a bad game. Think about it. Everybody gonna have a bad game, but then they rebound the next week and do better.
Right. Bit fast, fam.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your score prediction?
My score prediction, CB, I know it's a divisional game, but if the Saints go in with the right mindset, I see New Orleans winning this game 24-14.
Okay, fam. Good.
As long as the Saints win, I'm all right with that.
Facts, fam.
Mm-hmm.
Jared, man, we definitely appreciate you for calling in, fam. You got any final thoughts?
All I can say is get ready for Monday night. I know we got a doubleheader, but ours begin at 6:15. Let's go get this win, Who Dat Nation. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's get this win on Monday night. Who Dat?
Who Dat, fam? Okay, let's see. Javier said if Saints get the run game going, it would be a long night for the Panthers. Absolutely, fam. Absolutely. But I do believe the running game will be better this week versus last week. And that ain't knocking Derrick Brown. Derrick Brown, I pointed out, the man, he led the defensive unit with 8 tackles. And Derrick Brown, he not no slouch either, so you definitely got to look out for him. I don't know if he in the 3 technique or if he on the other side, but Ruiz, I think Ruiz will hold his own against him. As far as James Hurst, that's another guy that could possibly wreak havoc. Obviously, he was wrecking some type of havoc if he had 8 tackles. So, our guard's gonna have to be on point. I believe definitely a fire's love under Caesar's ass. After he got that extension. But our left side of the offensive line, not just pointing out Trevor, man. James Hurst gonna have to step up. And really our whole offensive line as a whole. Just like Jerry said, man, everybody gonna have a bad game. Everybody gonna have a bad game. But I just know Trevor Penn and his matchup is not getting no easier this week. So hopefully he rebound. I believe he gonna rebound. James Hurst or Caesar, whoever got Derrick Brown, they gonna have to hold their own against that man. Shout out to RG Scott. Said who that just now waking up. Yeah, fam, it was an early show today, man. It's birthday weekend, got a lot going on, so this was the only time I could really get it in. And just another reminder, at some point today, the little time I got, man, I'm going to run a Madden stream, so you guys be on the lookout for that. If I don't run it today, I'll run it tomorrow. So just be on the lookout for that. Let's see. Shout out to Derek L. Said, who that CB in the family? Who that to you, fam? Appreciate you for catching the stream. RG said, just watch the condensed version of last week's game, Falcons, Panthers, and honestly, Saints should be licking their chops based on the weaknesses that I seen from the Panthers. Okay, fam, what stood out to you? Was it more the offensive side or defensive side when it comes to the weakness? Just reading out all these new additions on their offensive side, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got 11 players on offense, and you got 8 new players. So that's basically you got a whole wipeout. You got a whole new offensive unit, including the quarterback. So was it more offensive side that you seen that was the weak point, or the defensive side? I just know it's a bunch of familiar faces on the defensive side. And their defense, last matchup up in Charlotte, has stood out against us. We cannot allow that again today. So one last call for the call in. If you want to click in on the call in, you guys please click the link that's in the comment section. If not, I'm going to give my prediction, and then we're going to wrap this show up. But yeah, family, just final overview, man. They got weaknesses on both sides. I was just shocked that Adam Thielen had 2 receptions for 12 yards and 2 targets. I don't know if the man got hurt. Like I said, I hadn't watched nothing. I don't know what happened, but they're going to be a fool of themselves if they're targeting these other guys more than Adam Thielen. And with that being said, I think Marshawn needs to follow Adam Thielen around. So we just can't get too ahead of ourselves. We got to make sure we shutting things down. Marshawn needs to get on Adam Thielen. And then the rest, it plays out. DJ Chark, I guess he their number 2 receiver. These guys are they're not elite. Adam Thielen, I don't know how much he got left in the tank, but I know he's their best receiver out there. Shout out to Calvin Washington said, who that from Phoenix, Arizona? Who that to you, fam? RG Scott said, weaknesses I seen, Saints should pressure that O-line and D-line. Carmichael should call a lot of run plays. Okay, fam. So that means it's going to be a big task. I mean, Jamal Williams, he had 18 carries last game. So he should be getting around that number this game, or a mixture between him and Kendra. He got some help this week, Jamal Williams do. Like I said, early in the show, I believe that our run game is going to prevail a little more than it did against Tennessee. I believe Tennessee's run, I mean, we all know they had the best run stopper in the league. They defended the run the best. Carolina Panthers, that's not the case. So I believe we're going to be more efficient in the run game. That's just going to allow us to play action and play around a little bit more on the offense. But my thing, as far as the offense, when we drop back in pass, Derek Carr needs to have time. Period. He has to have time. Jarvis said, Saints D is fire. Saints win 21-3. No touchdowns again. Let's go. Yes, as far as the Carolina Panthers scoring, I doubt these guys are going to be scoring touchdowns. I do believe they'll probably get a couple field goals. So I'll say 9. Say final score 9-24 Saints. 9-24 Saints. That's going to be my prediction. I don't know if they're going to drop back Bryce Young 38 times again, but we'll see. But once again, man, appreciate you guys for tuning in to the show. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow the page. Let's see, I just seen a comment come in. Derek Gale said, I know we were swept last season, but both teams have changed. Bit facts, fam. I think if we can hold up on the offensive line, our receivers will eat. With Miller being back and adding Taysom, our run game should improve. I'm glad you brought up Taysom. We definitely need to utilize Taysom more this game. I don't know what was the issue last game while we waited till the second half to make that adjustment. Please, we got to get Taysom at least about 6-7 offensive snaps. Whether he's running the ball or passing the ball, you got to utilize that weapon. That makes us even more dangerous. But two different ball clubs. We got a new quarterback. They got a new quarterback. Their offense is a whole 360. All their skill positions is different. Hubbard, he was there last season, but for our skill positions, everybody is new. And the same with us. We got a new quarterback. We got a few new pieces. So big facts, fam. I'm gonna be there Monday night, as you guys know. I stay in North Carolina, so I definitely will be at the ball game once again. So I'm gonna be out there rooting the Saints on. We got a chance to go 2-0, 1 up in the division. This is a very important game. All division games is important. But we gotta make sure we come in here ready to play. Who that nation? Appreciate you guys for tuning in to the WDN Chatline podcast. Make sure you guys please like, subscribe, and follow the page. And like I said earlier, I probably will be streaming Madden, live streaming Madden. So for the ones that's Madden lovers, man, you guys check me out whenever I do go live with it. Just chopping it up about the Saints, football, just having a good time. It's the WDN Chatline podcast, and I'm out. Who that?